Research shows that around 80 to 95% of people that lose weight regain it all within 3 to 5 years, ending up back where they started, if not heavier. That's not because they're weak, that's because their plan was never meant to last. I don't just know that statistic, I've lived it. For the last 12 years, my weight's been up and down like a fucking yo-yo. I've tried everything. From juice diets, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, fasting, calorie counting, you name it, I've done it. But this time my approach is different. This time it's not built on intensity, it's built on consistency. Not a temporary plan, a permanent lifestyle shift. Because the goal isn't to lose weight fast, the goal is to build a life where it doesn't come back. Welcome to Climbing My Own Mountain, the Easy Life podcast with me, Raymond Hall. I come from a background of a lot of bad habits, failed businesses, and a lot of wasted potential. Now I'm on a mission to get my life in order, be the best version of myself, and to inspire as many people along the way as possible. So like I say, for the last 12 years, literally, I've been up and down with my weight. If you were to look back at my photos and my timeline, you'd see my weight drastically going up and down over the years. My body was a reflection of my habits, basically. But I wasn't always fat. I wasn't always, maybe as a baby, I might have had some baby fat, but typically growing up, I was, especially in my teens, I was a skinny teenager. I was quite a skinny kid all the way up until when I worked in Dubai at 17 years old when I left school for a few months. And that was the first noticeable, probably because just I started drinking a little bit, eating a bit more. I come back and I'd filled out a bit from the skinny kid that I was. And then I hit 18, started drinking, going out. Lifestyle started changing, started filling out a bit more. Started my first business at 21, which was a fish and chip business, which didn't help. Done that for a few years, and then by the time I hit 25, 26, I was the biggest I'd ever been at that time. So I wasn't always fat, and it was around 25, 26, and it was the first time I decided to get in shape and I didn't do the gym or didn't do any exercise or think about my diet at all, ever, really. I played football up until maybe I was 14, 15, then dropped out, and then done nothing but bad habits, basically, shall we say, up until I was 25, 26, when me and my brother and a group of friends all decided to do Tough Mudder, which I'm going to talk about in another episode. The first time I chose hard over easy. It was quite a big thing, a massive thing actually, the start of my fitness journey. But it wasn't until then I first really started paying attention to what I was consuming, my habits, my weight, and then for the last 12 years it's been up and down. So I've seen some stuff online with certain influencers or certain public figures. They're basically straight to the point, and they're sort of like, I've got no sympathy for people if you're overweight, because you know, it's everyone's fault. You're in control of what you consume and exercise and whatever. And I sort of get that a little bit. That is right in some respect. However, some people, it's not actually their fault. Like, I've got empathy for a lot of people that are overweight because it's not their fault. Because some of the food companies, a lot of the food companies have been lying to us for years and falsely advertising things. Like when I first started getting into training, doing the Tough Mudder training, and I was obviously trying to lose weight. I was a couple stone overweight. I was eating certain things. I wasn't losing weight for a long time. My brother was saying, how come we're doing all this training and I thought you were eating a clean diet? How come you're not losing weight? So then we looked into what I was actually consuming, and I was eating like certain cereal bars or certain things that were advertised as being healthy, but until we took a deeper look into it, they were full of sugar. And like, I just didn't know. I just wasn't aware until I started looking into things, and then you start realizing that fat-free yogurt or fat-free whatever, but it's full of sugar. So I've got empathy for people that are overweight in that respect, because it's not a lot of our fault. Like we're just not aware, and we're just not educated on it. And even if you are educated on it and you start looking into it, the food companies were lying to us. They were saying, "Oh, eat this because it's got no fat in it," basically saying it won't make you fat, but it's full of sugar. And like we all know now, sugar's one of the worst things for putting on weight. So it's not always everyone's fault. Especially back, even back then, we're talking, 10, 15 years ago in that region, there wasn't as much access to information as there is now. Now it's a little bit more like, now there's a lot more, there's a lot of influencers online. There's a lot of bollocks out there, but there's a lot more access to information to find things out for yourself. There's so many apps, so many influencers, YouTube channels, social media people. You can learn a lot more now than you could. So there's less of an excuse not to know about certain food products. Or, I didn't know fat-free stuff is full of sugar, or, we should know a lot more now. But however, over the years, typically, the big food companies have been lying to us. There's a theory that breakfast, which breakfast actually means break fast, break your fast. If you didn't know that, break your fast. Fast is when you're not eating, when you're not consuming any food. But breakfast was actually created by big food companies. Like the cereal companies, some people say, created this whole thing of breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We've all got to eat breakfast. And it was all just a big marketing campaign to make us buy their products. And they've done a pretty good job of it, because it's actually only up until recently I've started realizing, actually, you don't have to have breakfast. So it's these food companies lying to us, making us feel we have to have breakfast, most important meal of the day. Cereal, cereal, cereal. Which turns out I don't eat cereal anymore. I do love a bowl of cereal now and again, don't get me wrong. But it's really bad for you. Pretty much every cereal is really bad for you. Spikes your sugar levels, spikes your insulin level. But we didn't know this. I'll never forget, I was around someone's house one day, and they've got kids, and they were up in their bedroom shouting at the kids, saying, "Oh, clean up and tidy your room." And they were obviously picking up food wrappers and stuff, and stop eating crap, go downstairs and eat something healthy. There's Cocoa Pops in the cupboard. That were their exact words. And I had to butt in. I started laughing, and I had to butt in and say, "Cocoa Pops? Like, are you serious? Like, healthy? Like, what?" And this person turned around to me and said, "Yeah, but it says full of calcium or vitamins, or whatever it said on the Cocoa Pop box." I can't quite remember what it was, but it was along them lines, full of calcium or whatever. And this person genuinely thought that the Cocoa Pops were good for their child. And it was funny, but at the same time it was quite shocking, because this person just didn't know. She just wasn't aware. She just wasn't aware. She's going, you know what I mean? Just wasn't aware that these big food companies are lying to us. They put in all these things, now it's protein everywhere. You go in supermarkets and they got protein on protein yogurts, protein this, protein that. And like when I'm away working and stuff, I do have some of them products, because it's a better replacement than some things. However, it's all shite, to be honest. If you're going to get protein, you need to get it from a solid food source, real food. But they're just sticking it on food to sell it. So a lot of people are just getting codded by that. So I've got empathy for people that just aren't aware that they're consuming shit food because the food companies are advertising it as something else. But there's so much information out there, we just need to do a bit more research. We've got the means now to look into things a lot more. So as this episode is about being overweight or about weight loss, etc., we might as well address the elephant in the room and talk about the fat jab. Now, when I first found out about the fat jab, initially I was really against it. In my head, I was just thinking, well, I've been fucking on this journey for the last 10, 12 years, up and down with my weight, trying my hardest, trying out all these different diets and counting calories and restricting myself and putting work in the gym. And then all of a sudden now, certain people are just coming along, taking this injection, taking this jab, fucking with their hormones or whatever it's doing to them, and they're just losing weight within a matter of months. Stuff that I've been doing, it's been taking me years to accomplish. So I was totally against them. Cheaters, fucking people just want shortcuts these days, and people haven't got the patience, and I still believe a lot of that. However, the more I educated myself about it and the more I understood about the jab, my opinion changed on it slightly. I believe, and I've witnessed it firsthand, and that's what's changed my opinion, to be honest. Someone close to me who was quite a few stone overweight ended up taking the jab for a while, lost a lot of weight, and they told me how much it changed their life. They told me how much now they just feel happier. Their anxiety, their mental health is better. They feel like they're a better dad. Things along this line. How can I argue with that? How can I argue with someone who's close to me and I love telling me this, that it's drastically improved their life? And then if you weigh it up against them being a few stone overweight, they were quite overweight. They were putting their organs and their body under that much stress from being overweight that I get it's worth them taking the risk maybe of some side effects from the jab because they were so overweight. And when you're that much overweight, that's a different ball game. So I totally get that. How can I argue with someone telling me they've made them a better dad? Their mental health's better. That doesn't mean my true belief. I still believe if they were just a bit more patient and done it the way I'm trying to do it, and the lifestyle change, and ate right and got in the gym and done it this way, it's going to take a hell of a lot longer. Just taking the jab, you're missing out on and losing weight. People are losing weight and they're going to feel good, but you're missing out on all the benefits that you get from exercising, from eating good. When you eat good and exercise, there's certain things that happen to your body and certain chemicals in your brain and certain things which make you feel 10 times better. You're missing out on all these benefits, all the accomplishment of when you achieve something and when you lose a stone and you've done it from hard work and being in the gym and eating right. It's just a total different feeling. And also, who knows, down the line, people are probably there's going to be side effects. It was spoken about in the news, was Robbie Williams, the singer, was speaking out about how it was affecting his vision or making him lose his sight or go blurry or something along them lines. Not quite go blind, but there were some side effects from him taking the fat jab. So there's all that to contend with as well. I'm not willing to risk stuff down the line from taking the jab. But there's also someone else I know who, again, was a few stone overweight, and they went on the jab, but they went on it for maybe a month or so to lose all that initial weight. They were a good few stone overweight. But then they stopped taking the jab, and then they adapted all the life habits that you need to be fit and healthy. So they used the jab as a tool to lose all the weight. Once the weight was off, then they cleaned up their diet. They're in the gym every day. They're doing all the right stuff, which, fair enough. If you're going to use it just as a tool, lose all the weight, then adapt to real life habits, keep the weight off, eating, training, whatever it takes, then I respect that. I think fair play. You've used it as a tool to get you there. It's the people now, I'm seeing certain people which are using it as a tool to lose loads of weight because they want to feel good and look good, but then they haven't changed their life habits. And then slowly you see them within a few months' time and that weight's come back on again, and then they're back on the jab to get it off again. That's not going to be doing you any favors. That cannot be good for your health. It's all about changing your lifestyle. It's all about changing your day-to-day habits. I had a friend who I was training with who was sort of PTing me a little bit. And I explained to him that obviously I've been up and down my weight for years. But this time round, I'm finding it a lot more difficult. It does get more difficult as you get older. Finding it a lot more difficult to lose weight. And he said to me, would you not consider using the fat jab as a tool? You know, get rid of your weight. And then he knows that I've got the habits and I do everything quite right anyway. And then you're off and running sort of thing. Just use it as a tool just to shift that bit of weight that you need to shift. And I thought about it and I was very nearly like, yeah, you know, I could do that. But then I just couldn't do it because I'm just fucking cheating myself, because I know I can do it. I've done it on and off for years. I know what it takes. Some of the best shape of my life I was in was when I'd done something called 75 hard. I'm not sure if you're aware what that is. I might talk about that in another episode. But it entails you've got to train for 75 days, drink so much water, eat a clean diet. Anyway, I stuck to it and it was the best shape I've ever been in. I know I can do it. If you're disciplined, you drink a lot of water, you eat clean, you exercise daily, in time you will lose weight, you will feel better. So I know I can do it, so I'm not willing to give in to the jab. And trust me, I think about it every day. Being overweight, I'm not like a very vain person, but being overweight is something I think about every day. I think about how much I want to be in shape. And it's not even for everyone else or whatever, it's just for me, just to feel good. I know once I get down to a certain weight, because I've done it so many times, I just feel better, I'm more confident. Just everything in my life gets better when I get to this certain weight. It's something that I've recognised now. And I think about it every day, every fucking day. All I want to do is be in shape. All I do is think about what I'm going to eat and constantly thinking about it. So I get it. I get when you're overweight, how fucking hard it can be. And you just want that weight off. If you are a good few stone overweight and you want to use the fat jab as a tool to get that weight off, then I can't argue with that. Fair play to you. As long as you then adapt the habits to move forward and then you're not just using it as a tool you're going to go off and on with. God knows the damage you're doing to your body doing that. However, if you are just a stone or two overweight, maybe if you're just a couple of stone overweight and you're If you're under 40, definitely under 30. If you're under 30 and you're only a stone or two overweight and you're going on that fucking jab, then I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that whatsoever. That's totally going against everything that my whole easy thing is all about. The whole easy brand is about doing the hard shit to live the easy life. If you're just fucking cutting around doing all the hard stuff, that's not how life works. Life doesn't work like that. Relationships don't work like that. Business doesn't work like that. There's no shortcuts. There's no fucking fat jab in business. There's no shortcut in a lot of relationships, in anything that's meaningful in life. There's no fucking fat jab, or there's no shortcut for that. Trust me. It's all about patience, putting in the work. So like I said, if you're really overweight and you need to use it as a tool to get that weight off, I fucking get it. If you're just a stone or two overweight and you're quite young and reasonably healthy, then we're just not the same, unfortunately. You're not doing anything to make your life better in the future. If you're just going to take a shortcut, and if you are considering it, if you are someone who's been thinking about it, and now there's this whole thing now of everyone thinks they're great because they're like, oh, but there's a new one now, and apparently you don't lose muscle mass, because that was a big thing with the fat jab before. You lose a lot of muscle mass, so you might be losing weight, but you know these people, you see them, they lost weight and something just doesn't look right with them. They almost look unhealthy, they look gaunt. It's because they're losing muscle mass. So and muscle mass is ultimately longevity in life. We all need muscle mass to get older. So you see these people and they're all gaunt, they haven't done it right. If you see someone who's lost weight but they've done strength training or resistance training, and they've got a bit of shape to them, that's when they start looking really healthy. And these people that look all gaunt and whatever, because they're losing muscle mass. But anyway, now there's this new jab apparently which you don't lose muscle mass on, and I'm not educated that much about it. I can't talk too much on it, but this is just what I'm hearing. So now people are like, oh, with this one you don't lose muscle mass. But so fucking what? You're still cheating. You're still cheating. Unless you are really, really overweight. Like everything that I've just spoke about, I'm going to give you a pass. I've witnessed it firsthand. I can't fucking argue with it. If it's changed your life for the better, fair enough. But I'm talking to other people that are considering doing it, that are young. If you're under 40, definitely under 30, and you're only a stone or two overweight, and you're considering it, have you considered using the same money that you're going to spend on this jab a month? Have you considered using that money to get a personal trainer and learn more? Because these sort of people are, I've been to the gym, I've tried the gym, I've done that, it doesn't work. Okay, but have you tried getting yourself a personal trainer? Use that money for a personal trainer, get a bit more knowledge. Have you tried that first before you start sticking fucking a needle in you? Have you tried that? Have you counted calories? Have you downloaded MyFitnessPal, which is a free app? I've used it for years, a great app. Have you tracked your calories, and not just for a day or two or for a week, for months on end? Have you continuously tracked your calories? Because trust me, that does work. And now there's a whole new thing of, like Eddie Abu, fucking don't track your calories. It could all be to do with your insulin sensitivity, which is something I'm looking into more at the minute because I'm struggling to lose weight. And I have been tracking calories and I still wasn't losing weight. So there is something to be said about this insulin sensitivity that can stop you from losing weight even if you're tracking calories. But have you taken the time to educate yourself about that, like I'm doing at the minute? There's loads of apps, there's loads of tools. Have you looked into fasting? Have you looked into a 24-hour water fast, a 72-hour water fast, 16-8 fasting? There's all these other tools you can use to get weight off you. If it's just all about the weight, without jeopardizing your health and using this fat jab, which potentially could get side effects from or affect your health down the line. Have you researched all these other options before you've just gone and done that? Ask yourself that question, because if you're just jumping straight for the shortcut, then it says a lot about you as a person, and you're going to end up taking a lot more shortcuts in life with different things, and you're not going to benefit from that, trust me. So look into it. There's other stuff you can do. However, if you're sat there now and you are quite a bit overweight, don't let me deter you, because like I said, I know how hard it is. And if you're 3-4 stone plus overweight and you're putting your body and your organs under stress by being that much overweight, then use it as a tool, get the weight off you, but try and change your life habits when you come off it so you don't get yourself back in that situation. And also, let me just say, if you're just overweight, if you're just a stone or two overweight, a couple of stone overweight, count yourself fucking lucky. Count yourself fucking lucky that you're just overweight and you've still got the means to go to the gym and work out, or you've still got the means to try and lose that weight. Because till you get injured, What I'm dealing with at the minute, herniated disc, which is pushing into my sciatic nerve. It's absolutely fucking ruined me. It's some of the worst pain I've ever had, and it's held me back from doing all the shit that I want to do, all the training, all the plans that I've had, even doing content. I've not done this content for a few weeks because I've been fucked. This injury, it's drained all the life out of me. Even today, I didn't even want to do it today really, but you've got to fucking get back on it. Same with the weight loss journey. You might slip, try this stuff, you slip. Everyone slips for a minute and life gets in the way. You just got to fucking get back on it. So if you are just overweight, count yourself lucky that you're not fucking injured. I wish I just had a couple of stone to lose now. If I could just get rid of this injury that I'm dealing with at the minute and just be a couple stone overweight, I fucking wish that was just the case. I'd be straight to the gym, fucking buzzing. All I got to do is lose weight. At the minute, now I've got to deal with a whole fucking injury thing that I've been dealing with for months, by the way. Rehab and whatever else to even get back to training, to then lose the weight. So if you're just overweight, count yourself fucking lucky. I'm telling you now, I wish I was just overweight, because until you get injured, to be fair, this injury has taught me a lot. I've learnt so much about myself and to appreciate my body a lot more. When I'm over this injury, it scared me, this injury, because this year I was off and running. I was starting a whole new fitness thing. I had like different high rocks training planned, and I love squash. I love to play squash. It's something that I have started over the last 10-15 years. Never done it in school or anything. I just ended up starting it in my 20s and I love it. But I've not really played much the last few years for whatever reason. When this injury's gone, I can't wait to play squash. I fucking want to play squash all the time. And weight training and climb mountains and all this other shit that I want to do. I'm going to do as much of it as physically possible, because this injury has scared the shit out of me. Because one day we're all going to get to an age, we're all going to get to a time in our lives when these things that we love, we're not going to be able to do them anymore due to just getting old and due to health reasons or whatever it might be. Health is your wealth, and it's all good until it's not. And I don't think we appreciate our bodies like we should do. You got people respect their new clothes or their new trainers or their new car more than they do their body. Health really is your wealth. I went to see a friend of mine yesterday. He's a bit older than me. He's in his 50s, but that's not old by any means. But a couple of weeks ago, he suffered a couple of mini strokes and some other health conditions, but he's had these mini strokes. So I went to see him yesterday. I've not seen him for a while. I went to check in with him. And he's good. He's doing well. He's a strong character. So he's progressing and he's getting better every day. And you know, I think hopefully he'll make a full recovery. I believe he will make a full recovery, hopefully. But it's sort of just put things in perspective for me big time, especially with my injury that I'm dealing with. But this is minor, a back thing. How many people have got sciatica and deal with that these days? It's a lot of people. But what he's gone through, it puts things in perspective. I was like, shit. Your health is your wealth. It's all good until it's gone. Now he's struggling to get around. He's weak down one side, struggling to talk a little bit, having to amend his life. He can't drive for so long, having to cancel trips, all these different things. It just puts everything in perspective. So if you're just a little bit overweight, count yourself fucking lucky. Trust me. There's a lot of people out there with a lot worse shit going on. And I don't even mean me, like my mate, or like other people that have got real health problems. That's not their fault and that's holding them back. So if you're just a stone or two overweight, count yourself fucking lucky. Get in that gym, it's a blessing. Gym and training and all that and eating good isn't meant to be a chore or torture. It's a blessing to be able to get up and go and exercise your body and break that sweat and then have them endorphins and feel good. There's no better feeling. Do you know what I mean? So don't beat yourself up if you're a bit overweight. You've got the means to go and change that. You've got the means. And before you consider that jab, just ask yourself, have you done everything possible? Have you looked down every other avenue? Personal trainer, track your calories, insulin levels, fasting. Just educate yourself on good food and how to eat properly. And there's a lot to be done before you go straight to that jab. That's all I'm saying. And like I said in the beginning, what I've learned, the one thing I have learned, and by the way, I'm not a fucking professional or I'm not qualified in anything related to this, nutritionist or whatever. I'm in the middle of doing a PT course, which is something I've not spoke about on here yet. But I've sort of put that to the back burner because I've realised I've got a lot of work to do myself first before I can even think about being a PT. So I'm not a professional in any of this by any means. This is all just my opinion, by the way. But the one thing I have learned, consistency over intensity. This isn't about locking in for 3 months, going hell for leather, doing everything, getting in shape, and then you just slowly, it all withers away, and then you're back to square one again, which I've done on and off for years. Consistency. This is all about just more consistent lifestyle changes. The minute I realised, the minute it twigged, and I was like, this is a life game. This is a long game. This isn't just, let's get fit and healthy for summer so I can look better in a t-shirt, or look better for that wedding, or going on holiday on the beach. The minute you realise this is a long life game, and it's all about lifestyle changes and mindset shifts and proper changes that last, rather than quick fixes. The minute you realise that, everything changes. Like the pressures, I feel like all the pressure just come off me, and I'm like, sweet, I've got some trips coming up the next few weeks, so I ain't got to be in shape for these trips. But am I better than I was last year? Am I making progress? And yes, I am. And you just got to keep setting goals. And I've just set myself the biggest goal I've ever going to set myself. Today is my 38th birthday. I turned 38 today. And I want to be an absolute fucking machine at 40. Let's just say that. I want to be in the best shape physically fucking possible. Physically, mentally. Fit at 40. That's my goal. 2 years from today. That is my goal, because although I regret, in my 20s and my 30s, although I regret being out of shape, and I wish I'd have got my shit together sooner, and I wish I'd have stopped getting on it sooner, and all these regrets I've got, whatever. It's easier, and I wish I was more in shape in my 20s and 30s, but it's easier to be in shape in your 20s and 30s. You're younger, your metabolism's quicker, everything's easier. The biggest flex, in my opinion, the biggest flex is to be fit at 40, or over 40, whatever. But the fitter you are and the healthier you are later on in life, to me, that's the biggest flex. I'd rather do it this way round. I'd rather have got fucked up in my 20s and 30s and got all that shit out of the way. Because if I'd have done it the other way round, and I was fit and healthy and I was successful and done everything in my 20s and 30s, and got to now this stage, 38, I'll be like, well, what next? I might end up then going off the rails and ruining the rest of my life. I'm glad I got all that shit out of the way. Because now it's fucking game time. Now it's like, right, okay, I've got all that shit out of the way. Now let's be as fit as possible for when I hit 40. Because I think that'll be the biggest flex. And it starts today. Day one. Day one. I'm going to smash it, and I'm going to record, and you're going to see it in real time. If you follow me, or you're interested in following me, or you watch my story, I'm going to show you all in real time. I'm going to lock in for the next 2 years. And lock in with me, you know. Hope people lock in with me regardless of what stage you're at or how old you are. But this is just my goal. This is just my plan. So prepare to see a lot more of me if you're following me. But yeah, it's time to stop fucking about. It's time to climb. The wait is over. So there you go, episode 3. Do me a favour, I've not asked this before, but if I'm going to do what we're going to do, we might as well do it properly. I might as well try and grow this channel. I might as well try and inspire as many people as possible while I'm on this mission. So do me a favor and click subscribe, follow my channel, share, comment, get involved, tell me, let's talk about it. I'm not an expert about everything. I'd love to hear everyone else's opinions on stuff. But yeah, subscribe, please. Let's do this. And I'll see you soon.